G'day YouTube, how the heck we doing? It is Foul Play here and we're back for some more Pauper action. So in this league we're going to be running the Lotus Petal version of the deck once again. I do prefer it to Commune, but both are for the most part quite viable. So the main deck is mostly unchanged. We've got the one of Cave of Temptation in there over the Ash Barrens. Additionally, I've gone down from 4 Cetacean Training to 2, reintroducing 2 copies of Rancor. Outside of that, the usual suite we've got with the 4 Armadillo Cloak, Ethereal Armor, Cartouche, the 4 Utopia Scroll and Abundant Growth, which help us fix our mana, which is quite important for this deck given the hand base available in Pauper. And then we've got 2 ofs for, Sentinel's Eyes, and as we said before, the Rancor and the Cetacean Training. In the sideboard, we've got a bit of an interesting suite. So I did remove Relic of Progenitus to reintroduce Scattershot Archer. It looks like the Ninja Fairy deck is making a little bit of a resurgence, and Scattershot Archer is pretty damn necessary in that matchup, otherwise it's absolutely horrible for us. We've got Burn Hate / End the Festivities / Karkland Shaman. We've got Standard Bearer, which is going to be tech into the Mirror Match or other white decks that would be bringing this back in their sideboard. We've got Gutshot, which is removal for Standard Bearer. Also, it's good against Elves, good against Ponza, getting rid of that Arbor Elf. We've got more Edictate with the Young Wolf. We've got Flaring Pain to prevent those fog decks from just, stone beating us. And we've got Cryphix's Insight. This is mostly for the Dawnbringer Cleric plus Ephemerate decks. With that out of the way, let's get into the league. Alright, so here we are for match number 1. Now this hand's like sort of medium. I think it's worth a keep. We're on the die roll versus KDM Broken. So the positives about this hand are that we have a creature, we have good mana, and we have like a first strike enchantment. Realistically, if we just draw mana all game, we're going to lose, but if we hit any of our auras, we can play our 3-drop auras and we'll be in a pretty good spot. Alright, so Voldaren Epicure from our opponent, so likely the Kildroth Burn. And, well, right on time, another Gladecover Scout, go team. Kind of terrifying. So play out another guy, play out a guy, and we'll just go ahead and attack in. Well, literally the best top deck we could have is Armadillo Cloak, so if we see one of those, I'll definitely just slam onto the battlefield. Alright, that's an Implement of Combustion from our opponent here. No activation on it. Well, Cetacean Training is a decent find. We'll kick it off with Cetacean Training on the Burgle. And Rancor off the top. I guess we're going to try our best to race. Attack with everything. Our opponent looking to block out the scout here. Implement can pick off our warrior later on. That's fine. We're not like too fussed about that. We've got another hexproof creature we can block with. Our opponent is also land screwed, which may work pretty strongly in our favor. Alright, Rebirth, sacking the implement, getting that card draw, and getting the juicy goblin tokens. Looks like they've bricked on mana again, so we're like literally going to win this game. Off of very little enchantment wise. I guess with Cetacean Training, Rancor and another Cartouche, we've assembled something, but it's a pretty non-event victory for us. Alright, with that, our opponent concedes and we get into the juicy part of sideboarding. Alright, so this is the red deck and typically what they do. The main sideboard interaction card they have is End the Festivities, which gets around hexproof by dealing damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker that opponent controls. Other cards to look out for, Fire Blast, where they can sack a couple of mountains when all their mana's tapped out and deal 4 damage to you. This deck seems to be running 4. I think it's usually between 1 and 2 copies. Alright, so now we've got the more relevant deck with the Kessig Flame Breathers. Only 1 copy of Fire Blast there. It looks like it runs 2 End the Festivities in the main. And from the sideboard we can see another 2 copies of End the Festivities and even an Electrickery too. A reminder guys, if you enjoy the video, find it entertaining or informative, please consider subscribing. So Crimson Acolyte just comes in, protection from red. I just efficiency swap out the Silhana Ledgewalker and I don't really bother much else with sideboarding. Sweet, this hand's awesome. We'll go ahead and keep it. Post board, it's good to have either a Crimson Acolyte hand or a... Okay, this is pretty interesting. Crimson Acolyte hand or a hand that has Armadillo Cloak for that life gain. So we're just going to go ahead and resolve a turn 1 Lotus Petal. We use that Lotus Petal to generate an extra mana. So we'll sack it, Utopia Sprawl. Now we can Crimson Acolyte. That gets straight around that End the Festivities line our opponent loves to go for. And opponent Lightning Bolts our face in the end step. Implement of Combustion from our opponent. The nice thing about protection from red as well is it does make it hard for our opponent to block our creature. We do see implement sacked into Kildroth Rebirth. 4 cards left in hand for our opponent. We break on another hexproof creature. That's pretty frustrating. Alright, let's play some stuff out. If we go on and scout, it's a 3/3. Crimson Acolyte's going to be a decent blocker anyway. Yeah, I think we just do that. It's like slightly slower, but this is best served as a blocker, right? You can get in for 1 attack here, I believe. And then like take 1 damage from a Goblin token while like blocking the other 2 and trading a Bogle. So about like all we want to see here is just some description of auras, start buffing up our creature and going from there. Our opponent could have like a slower hand or a quicker hand here. We'll just have to wait and see. Against a quick hand, we're probably a loss this game, short of top decking Armadillo Cloak. So Bushwhacker from our opponent. Yeah, that's going to buff up their creatures quite nicely. And that is an attack for 8. Alright, well, our blocks are pretty straightforward. We'll just block as such, taking 4 damage. That'll put us down to 13. And our opponent can like Lightning Bolt our face or something as well. Which would drop us all the way down to 10 even. Alright, Abundant Growth off the top and not looking too amazing for us. We'll see what this one finds. And yeah, there's some pretty cool tricks being played on us at the minute, I believe. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll attack. Opponent down to 3 cards in hand. It's a bit awkward, like mana-wise this turn, but in future turns we're going to have access to 2 different lands that can tap for white. And we're going to be able to do one during our turn and one during our opponent's turn. So just in the meantime, we lose out slightly. And Galvanic Blast at our face, that is only going to be 2 damage to the face, I believe. Or was that 4? Control 3 or more. Okay, never mind. That was all 4 damage to the face. For some reason, I was counting Metalcraft wrong. Apologies. Alright, and our opponent is sending in with these Goblin tokens. We can just go to blockers, and I think it's fine to block both of these. The Scout's not going to get much more use. Crimson Acolyte lives. Cool. Dwarven Forge Chanter from our opponent. And an Epicure. Leaving 1 card in hand, but they do get the Blood token here. I believe that can be sacked to draw a card. Discard a card. Sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. Alright, a cartouche off the top, and I don't think that really changes too much. Play our Bogle. I think we enchant this Bogle here. We got a 3-turn clock on the largest Scout. So we'll activate you, giving protection from red here. And we'll just go ahead and attack for the guaranteed 5 damage. We've got all the blockers in the world. Opponent with another Kildroth Rebirth. Attacking the Blood token, and that's pretty good news for us. We can like just give the protection from red across. These 1/1s aren't doing a huge amount. Got a pretty healthy life total. All that good stuff. Yeah, beautiful off the top. Alright, so we'll just give protection from red here. And we can start attacking with our big guy. I guess the Vigilance token can stay on defense for now. Our opponent can get access to a 2/2 Vigilance Knight through the Experimental Synthesizer after sacking it a second time. So Lightning Bolt face, that'll put us to 5. 0 cards in hand, so they're literally top decking at this point. All right, and there it comes, the Alpha Strike. Smacking on through. All right, well, we don't have much of a reason to block differently from this, so we'll look to take the 2 damage here, and then we'll go to 3, which is Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning range. Okay, and our opponent has the Galvanic Blast, so that's going to be enough to go back to sideboarding and change absolutely nothing, so we'll just get straight into the game 3. All right, so we see this no land hand. We are going to mulligan it. And this hand is absolutely perfect. Snap keep, get into it. We get the Armadillo Cloak on the Crimson Acolyte. That is absolutely the dream. And given we've got enough mana already, we've got access to white through Utopia Sprawl, we can get rid of these Ash Barrens, I feel. Alright, so turn 1, Utopia Sprawl on white. Our opponent keeping a 6 as well. And Implement of Combustion from our opponent. Alright, another mana source off top. Not so happy about that, but we are happy with the rest of our hand. And our opponent just looks to pass back to us. That's pretty interesting. Land-wise, it doesn't make a big difference which one we play here. I'm just going to go ahead and play the Forest. We probably Bogle second main. They could be holding up instant speed Electrickery. We're not hugely concerned about that. Well, our opponent concedes the Armadillo Cloak, so that was a pretty short and sweet one. Thank you all for watching, guys. Be sure to check out my previous video. I'll leave a card link in the end step of the video here. We are doing a card giveaway, giving away 3 different lots of cards. The first of which is a Heroic Intervention. The second of which is a foil Extended Art Light Pause with 4 foil Audacity, and the third of which is a Gadok Teeg, a foil Lavinia, and a foil Daybreak Coronet from Modern Masters. So once again, thank you all for watching. Be sure to let me know what you thought of the match down in the comments section below. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Until next time, guys, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you then.